Hey everybody, today we're going to go over the ZH24D-2. So this is your best of all worlds. It is minimal tail swing, almost a zero tail swing. You do have about 4 inches that come out, and if you got an expandable track unit, it's got a U-boom, so cylinder on the top side of the boom. It's got your diverter here on the boom. It also incorporates pretty much everything. So if you want a 2-speed expandable track, retractable track, again, that's up to you which way you want to go, in or out. If you want a cab, if you want, every option you can put on a small excavator, this is the model you're going to run with. It's still going to come with a 16-inch bucket. It's still going to come with a hydraulic thumb. It's still going to come with everything we tell you guys about for the last 3 years. But this guy really turned out sharp, and I think that the attention to detail is there. So even coming with the hydraulic lines out of the boom so they don't rub, there's a connection in here that comes out to your thumb and your auxiliaries. Color matching canopy, steel canopy, even down to the folks. We've had a lot of folks that want to get in their 7-foot garage door. So these are 7'2" tall. However, if you unbolt the ROPS here and here, now it's only 5 foot tall. So you have the ability to get into a low clearance area. Again, not to work. I'm not telling you to go to work, but it's for storage. You can take that off. You can put it where it needs to be. You can access that low clearance for storage. And in this unit, you're also getting rubber grommets between your steel. So everybody knows steel on steel. You might hear some rattle on some of the other models. Something that we've kind of incorporated in almost every model at this point. But there's rubber grommets between the steel. Just, again, that attention to detail so it doesn't vibrate when you're tracking. You also have mechanical travel right here with the foot pedal. The only time that's not going to apply is if you do an expandable track. The far pedal is going to run your expandable track. You can also go with the 9 3/4 inch track or 9-inch track on these, which is the same as a Bobcat MT85. So from front to back, we're now 60 inches. This is our longest track base yet. And what that does is it gives you more stability when you're traveling on uneven terrain, when you're, ducking in over a curb or something. It lets your track kind of travel along better. You can also go with that 9-inch track. We're going to show you guys around these in a little bit, but for now, I just want to go over all that boring stuff, all your specs, your reaches, and so forth. So they have an impressive reach. It's 10'6" on max reach. And again, when we tell you guys max reach, we've physically taken a tape measure, stretch this bucket out, and measure from the front of the machine. That means you pull up to a ditch, your blade sticks out over it, you can reach 10'6". Max radius is 12'1". So from the center of this machine all the way around, you're going to have a 12'1" circle around you. Very impressive for a small unit. This is a 3,000-pound machine. For a 3,000-pound machine, 12 foot of reach, you really get a lot of versatility in there. You also get 10 foot of max vertical height. So when this guy is stretched all the way up, it's going to reach up to a 10'1" wall. Again, that's bucket up and out and down. And then when you're doing dumping height, you got 7'6". So if you got a dump trailer with that 5'4" wall, you can actually dump on the outside of that thing. You have grease fittings incorporated on the side of the boom. You can't see it from there. We'll show you all this stuff here in a minute. We're going to do a few takes here. That way you guys can see the unit inside and out. But probably the unit that, in my mindset, is probably going to take over some of the other models is definitely this guy. It's got U-boom, it's got double-plated blade. So even this blade, instead of just edge protection and curl protection, it's got a double plate with a gusset and a reinforced gusset on the back. It's really, like I said, attention to detail is there. It's also got Kubota D902 engine, double stack pump, the longer track, heavy duty drive, all that stuff. It's incorporated in one unit now, and it's a unit that you can absolutely option however you want it. I mean, down to the track sizes, down to the cab or open station, down to the height. So you guys are interested in one of these, the ZH24D-2 is going to run around the same price as those BH24Ds, with the ability to option them into whatever you want to make them. So we're going to do another take here. We're going to show you guys the inside of the machine, the console and so forth, and then we're going to do a test drive. That way you guys can see them operate. So pay attention here in a few minutes and we'll get you guys running here on a run and drive machine.
Good.
All right guys, so here we're going to show you the layout of the machine a little bit closer. I'm actually going to do it in the cab unit here. So if you do a cab unit, that's just a cab enclosure. You still have a lockout door. You have a sliding window. You have a sliding window on the other side, and you have a sliding front window. So there's still plenty of air moving through the cab if you decide to go with the cab unit. You have a fan on the inside. You have an LCD display. Again, hydraulic joysticks. You have adjustable armrests. Now this unit has the 9-inch tracks, and it has the expandable tracks. So when you're looking at this unit, you have the pedal here and a pedal over here, and that one over there is doing your expandable track, and this one over here is running your auxiliary, and the blade is right here in the center. So we'll open up the back of this green one right here just to show you guys the beauty of the simplicity. So when you look under the hood here, you have your starter in the back, you have your oil filter in the back, you have your upper fuel filter and your lower fuel filter, so your element filter and your inline filter. You have your fuel pump right here, your alternator, and you have your wrap on your exhaust. Everything is right here. So when you got to service your machine, it's not like you're digging in the back. You're not trying to take panels off. You can throw your oil wrench in there. You take your filter off in 5 seconds. You put a new one on. Your drain, everything is right here in the back. Again, a molded counterweight. You don't hear it dinging. So you can take a hammer to that guy. So you have the counterweight in the back. You have the latch for the hood here. You also have the heavy duty radiator with the oil cooler. You have your double stack pump in here. So very well incorporated. Everything lays nice around the engine. It's not on top of the engine. You're not getting a bunch of heat on the lines. Now this unit here, if you notice, is a 2-speed unit. So the drives are not exposed. It's in line here. With a 2-speed unit, you want to make sure that that is also being checked periodically. A 2-speed unit has oil inside of that drive motor. So on the side of this drive motor, it'll actually give you a drain level and an oil level. So if you go the 2-speed unit, always make sure that you do check this periodically. I've seen in many skid loaders, you know, people run them dry, they run for a long time, but eventually they don't. So something, if you go the 2-speed, make sure you're checking that 2-speed oil level for the drive motor. The LCD display, flip up console. I mean, I'm not a skinny guy, but I can get on this unit pretty quick and easy. It's got lots of room here on the seat, and I'm not trying to wiggle in. If everybody watches my videos on some of the smaller 20s, you notice how I'm pushing the lever to the side. This one, you just step up in, you grab the handle, and you're up in the seat. You flip this guy down. Again, adjustable armrest. I got plenty of room. I even have room in the seat to slide. I got my headrest, and I'm up and running. So nicely laid out. Getting in and out is easy. Those of you that have bad knees and legs, you have this to get in. You have a step here on the track. So I'm not the skinniest guy in the world, so watching me to get on and off should give some of you guys that maybe not be the skinniest guys as well some reassurance on these units, because they are a smaller unit, but the way they're laid out, since this flips up, gives you enough degree to get on and off easier. We're going to give you guys some run time. We're going to test drive one. We're going to do some digging. We're going to do some running around here, but really one of the best units as far as options and as far as layout that you're going to see, I think, is going to be this one. I'm really happy with the paint. I'm really happy with the metal. I'm really happy with a lot of the finish work. Again, this is attention to detail in these units, and still a very viable price point. Here in Pennsylvania, they'll start at $15,900. If you go to another dealer, they might be a little bit more, but let's consider this. Let's say you're in Washington, you're watching this video, and you know this unit's $15,900 in Pennsylvania, and the dealer in Washington $16,900. You also have to consider they have their own overhead, they have the shipping to Washington. So there's things to consider there that you're not going to have to worry about, because you're going to have that dealer in Washington in your backyard. You know, Texas, the same deal. If you're buying from Texas, I know we just priced a guy for Texas, and his shipping was like $2,200. And I know that sounds outrageous, but in the grand scheme of where we are right now, it's not out of line. So I'm sure you guys can find a better rate at some spots, but for these units to have a dealer in your backyard that might be at our cost or might be within $1,000, it's well worth it to have that local shop being able to support you. So we'll do some videos here showing you guys to operate them. But again, attention to detail on these, I think, is very well done. Plastic layouts on the consoles is very well done. The canopies are very well done. The booms are all CNC welded, but even when you look at these, it's a smooth, seamless weld. When you look at that gusset, there's not a bunch of splatter on it. There's not a bunch of slag on it. I mean, it looks very, very well done. It is very well done. All your connections, even the tie downs on your hydraulic lines are well done. You have your grease fittings in the front. You have your cylinder protector here on your blade. So a machine that is still very, very cost effective and very, very well done. I mean, I think that this machine, out of all the machines, for cost anyway, is probably one of the best buys. Now, it is a little bit lighter than the ZH24D, so there is some, you know, you got to think about breakout force, lift capacity, and so forth. It's still going to have limitations where another machine may not, and that's where a zero tail swing is going to differ from one that has a tail swing. The ZH24D does have a larger tail swing, which gives it more breakout force and lifting capacity because it's set on the turret further back, where this is more centered. But if you're looking for a machine around the house, if you're looking for an all-around machine, if you're a landscaper that needs to get in tight areas, I really think this is a good option for you if you're looking for that mid-range machine. We'll see you guys in a minute. We're going to do the video. We're going to show you guys some operational stuff, and then we'll see what you guys think. All right, guys, we're going to give you a quick test run on this fella, see what you guys think. That's about as smooth and seamless as any excavator is going to be, in my opinion. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to travel a little bit. We've already started to dig a hole in our yard here. And I don't normally drive with my feet, but these sticks are a little bit lower. And so having them foot pedals, again, this one doesn't have expandable track, so having these foot pedals is nice. My 2-speed button would be here on the right side if this had 2-speed. Now, it's going to be kind of like Bobcat, where Bobcat has a standard console. So just because you have a 2-speed button doesn't mean the machine has 2-speed. It's actually got to have 2-speed drive. And we're just going to clamp the blade. Everybody, because sometimes that becomes a question. Side swing is right here in this joystick. Little button on the top, push the button, nice and easy. And your thumb's right there. Or artillery, actually, but. As you can see, I'm digging here, I'm picking myself up. So the machine's performing to its ability based on weight. You know, when you have a 3,000-pound machine and you cut your hole in and it's picking itself up, that's about what it can do. And if you watch, my chassis is actually, you know, moving a little bit side to side as I come in through, because I'm pushing at an angle here. The other part that I'm happy with is even side swing pressure. If you've never tried to side swing a dig with some other machines that might keep in mind, I'm not running this at much RPM. I don't have this thing hammering. There's no reason for that. This machine is going to perform everything it should perform at about 1,800 RPM, 2,200 RPM, somewhere in that range. You don't got to run them at 2,800 RPM. If you're not familiar with diesel, that's about red line 28 to 3,000. But I'm going to be honest with you folks, because it is a smaller body line, if I go crazy with my joysticks up here, I can make the machine bounce. I mean, that's going to be any machine that you're not just fluid with. I take this guy and I start bouncing the food, bouncing everything around. It's going to look like it's the machine's fault, but it's not. It's the operator. There's no reason that you should look like a bucking bronco. Watch my videos, you know I use that reference time and time again. It should just be nice and fluid. If it's not nice and fluid, just slow down, take your time, and get used to the machine. Every time you open up this valve, it's going to tell it to go and rotate, spin, and do whatever you want it to do. The other nice thing here is, when you have the joysticks and the pedals and everything right here, I can actually float my blade right here in my hand. Or I can do it with my feet. So if I decide I'm going to go backwards, and you're not going to be super aggressive, but right there I'm taking off my sawdust. So it's got enough track pressure to grab and actually push, but it does not have it to pull all that into myself. So right there I'm going to pick up and I'm going to start to float that back out, right? And those of you that know how to operate excavators, you're thinking, oh, that's kind of obvious, but there's guys that don't have that experience, so we're going to try to run through some scenarios. And push yourself. Throttle them down before you shut them off. But if I wanted to change a track, and I could have picked it up a little bit, but if you want to change a track or something, this is the easiest way to change your tracks. You're just going to pick your machine up, you're going to guide that track on and off. Just remember, these tracks will break in for the first 100 hours. You want to have some give to them. Don't make them so tight that you can't move this. You want to have about that much, about a ½ inch up, ½ inch down, and that thing will be just right. If you make them too tight, the machine will actually fight itself, and the machine will work just to drive because you're putting so much tension on that front and rear idler, and the sprocket can't turn the machine. So if you guys are interested in these, I think that this is a very viable option for a lot of folks out there that are looking for a nice mid-size unit or micro unit. I do want to show one more thing real quick on the blades. So if you have an expandable track unit, you have wings on the side of your blade. So these are the wings for your expandable track. So this is a 43 inch and then 55 inch when this goes out. So these wings will just pull out, flip over, and then you'll have your 55 inch blade. These blades are reinforced with gussets back here, the double plated with edge and curl protection, and then you have your cylinder protection here. So I just wanted to show you guys the retractable track unit, expandable track unit, and then lastly, the cab. They went above and beyond. I think that they did a beautiful job with the cab for a simple cab. They have a radio, you have all your switches up in the front here. So those of you that want to do a cab unit, this is probably the nicest layout for a cab. Plus with the sliding glass windows, you are able to have some airflow even in the summer. The other option you guys can do is, if you wanted to, you could buy the canopy kit for these. So if you have a cab unit, you can buy the canopy kit with the bars for $750. So you can take this off in the winter when it starts to get cool. You can set it to the side, put it on stands, and then run your open station. And then when it gets cool back out again, or it's getting in a rainy season, put your cab back on and have the best of both worlds. So that is an option for the folks that have a crane or a forklift to get these off. These don't weigh a ton, they only weigh a couple 100 pounds. You could actually take this off, put your canopy on, and run it that way. So that's the new ZH24D-2. That's a lot of information, I understand. I appreciate you guys watching our videos. I love the feedback. I honestly hated doing these videos. I know I talk a lot with my hands, and I know that I stutter sometimes. It's not because, well, it is because I never wanted to be on camera. I never wanted to be talking on these things. So those of you that give me the positive feedback, it really helps. This is all for you guys' information. Obviously, it helps us sell equipment, but it's so that you guys have all the information, because there's so much stuff out there nowadays. You have the information to make an informed decision on which machine is best for you. And I think that this unit right here is going to be a very, very, very good contender in that first series in your diesels. It has pretty much the best of everything except the long tail swing. So if you need more breakout force, if you need a little bit larger machine, that BH24D is probably still going to be the animal for you. But if you're looking for something that's just got a well-rounded application, this is definitely going to be that machine. If you guys are interested, give us a call, 570-837-1016. The other number is 570-837-1003. We appreciate everybody. We'll see you guys next video.